Okay, today's video, I'm going to talk about home services PPC formula that crushes it every single time. Really do well with your home service ads, whether it be plumbing, carpentry, remodeling, foundation repair, doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to give you the exact way to beat all your competition, which is really the only thing you need to worry about doing in order to make really great money running Google search ads for your business. With this information I'm going to give you here today, you'll be able to walk away from this video with the exact formula that I use to guarantee results on our clients' campaigns every time, given that our entire agency is set up to where we do not get paid unless we can get them real additional results on their ads. That is, more money that they're making on their ads after expenses than what they started with, in excess of what our fee actually even is. I'm going to show you exactly what we're using to guarantee those results, because of course, if we couldn't get results for our clients a very high percentage of the time, we would go out of business with that exact model of doing business. But it's very straightforward. I put these things into motion, they get results, we get paid, clients happy, we're of course happy as well. You're lucky enough that I'm going to give you the actual working method that we're using to get these results every time on every single home service account that we worked on. And we've worked on 100 plus different home service accounts at this point in time in the last 10 years running the agency. I'm not afraid, by the way, of giving you this information, because even though there'll be 1% of people who actually want to go and put the work in to execute on this, and that 1% certainly can be you, but most people are going to use this information in terms of education, entertainment, but they're not going to execute on it. Therefore, it's really open to you, and it will work, and you will likely then, as a result of that, be the only one in your market actually doing it. So with that said, getting into the content, the key in beating your competition locally on Google is doing better than your competition. The key thing you need to know is that Google fundamentally obviously wants to make money. They're set up to try to maximize revenue from their asset, which is Google and people going to Google. The way that they do that is they try to optimize for user experience so that people want to click on ads in the future, not organic results, and they want to come back to use Google in general, again, as a tool. The more they can do that, the more money they're going to make long term, right? The way that they know that they're optimizing for that exact outcome is to take all of the people that want to advertise on Google in your local home service market and try to show the ads. There's 4 ads at the top of Google. There's, a lot of times, mostly in competitive markets, 10 people that are wanting to advertise in those spots at any given time. They know if they optimize for the person who has the highest click-through rate and the highest conversion rate, that is the conversion rate from clicks to leads, leads being phone calls or form fills or live chat if you want to add that in there. And they optimize for that on an ongoing basis, they'll keep making more money because people would be more apt to click on ads in the future, and vice versa if they did not actually optimize for that. So if you optimize for those two things and you actually beat your competition, all of your competition, or at least 80% of your competition, you are going to be on Google's good side. You'll have the wind at your back. Google is going to give you more clicks at a cheaper cost per click. As a result of that, show you higher up in the ads ranking in terms of the top 4 ads that are at the top of Google. For less money, they're going to give you a higher percentage of the time of showing, that is close to 100% impression share as you can get. They're going to also send you a higher percentage of the good quality clicks, which this is a hidden secret of the trade. When you start advertising on Google and they think you're going to be the 90% of people who try it for a couple months and then give up because they want instant results, and they don't get it, they're going to stomp their feet and run off. Ultimately, if you prove to them you're doing well, they start sending you the person that's more statistically likely to convert on top of all of it. Why and how do they know somebody's more likely to convert? They see everything that person's done before searching for foundation repair Dallas that they've done in the last 10 years. And they can statistically predict that person coming through, what their likelihood is of doing business in that space versus not, that make that search for that particular keyword. So, and if you're going to give the good quality traffic or the person that they know is most statistically likely to convert to anybody, who are you going to give it to? The person who's been doing a good job with their users for the last 5 years, has been paying bills on time for their ad spend, or the guy who started 2 weeks ago and is probably only going to be here for another 2 months before he gives up, or he can't deliver the service very well, so he can't therefore make money from the ad space. You're obviously going to give as much as you can of the good quality clicks to the person who's been around to encourage them to stay around. Going full circle on this thing, like I mentioned, Google's trying to optimize showing advertisers ads that are giving their users a good experience. And the way that they do that is they send the good quality people coming through that are most likely to do business with somebody to the person who's doing the best job there on click-through rate and conversion rate to encourage them to stay around. If they're making good money, they're more likely to stay around versus sending the good quality people to the person who's doing a bad job that they don't want to stick around. So you can see how all of this works. It really, really, really helps to understand all this up front, because once you understand what I just told you, it's crystal clear what you need to do. What ads are going to get me a high click-through rate? What landing page to take them to is going to get me a high conversion rate, to at least higher than my competition. And depending on what niche you're in and how many people can do what you do in your niche, therefore dictating the level of competition and how much money there is in dominating Google search ads in your space. Because if you dominate, naturally, like water damage restoration, where you can make $3,000 a phone call, every phone call you get, versus dominating broken toilet repair, where you're talking about a $100 deal, it's going to obviously take more to get the highest click-through rate and the highest conversion rate, because there's more money at stake. More money there is at stake, more people are willing to invest in having good ads in the landing pages itself. But really, it just all boils down to the people you see at the top of Google now in your space. Can you have a better ad and a better landing page than them? You get a higher click-through rate and a higher conversion rate than them, or not? If you can, you will make a pile of money. If you can't, you ain't going to make shit. You're not going to even make enough to cover the cost of the ad spend and the cost of hiring your guys to do the work. And so, at the end of the day, you either come heavy with this stuff on Google search or you don't come at all. Because if you don't do well enough, you're not going to make any money after expenses. And Google, fundamentally, based upon what I said, is trying to pour it all onto the guy or gal who's doing better than 80% of the people in terms of click-through rate and conversion rate, to encourage them to stick around and make everybody else struggle, to basically price them out of the market and just go someplace else because they're not doing what they want them to do. This isn't a yellow page listing where you're either there or you're not. This is the absolute effing opposite of what that model used to be and is right now. So with that said, so in some niches it'll take more than others, but 99% of the people are doing home services ads, Google search ads for home services, are not going, 99.9 are not going to do these key things that always work that I'm going to give you here in the next part of the video, that if you just simply use, you're going to beat everybody in your space, not just being in the top 20%, but being in the top 1%, or basically the top guy or gal doing it in your space to get the highest click-through rate, the highest conversion rate. So Google says, wow. And you're doing not only better than everybody else, but 2 to 3 times better than everybody else. I want to give you every click I can. I want to charge you 20% of what everybody else is paying per click. I want to give every person who's likely to do business to go with you. And then the millions are going to come raining down on your business as a result of all that. To get the highest click-through rate, you simply have to have the better ad, have the highest conversion rate, you got to have a better landing page, best landing page. The way that you do that is very, very simple, okay? It's simple, but obviously it takes some work. The work that it takes, though, is not, like climbing a mountain. And once you get it done up front, it's done. You're going to earn the money that you're earning from this for the next 10 years, which people, they like to just put a little work in, and then when it works, they say they're going to put more work in after, and that's like putting gas in your car after you've already been moving. It doesn't work that way. You put the work in up front to get the results, or you don't, and you don't make anything. You don't make squat. It's worth it, obviously, to do this. You're going to make millions of dollars if you do this. Who cares if it takes you 200 hours with the work up front to get this done? Because you're going to make $10 million over the next 10 years doing this. So why would you not do it? First of all, you want to break your campaigns and do multiple smaller local campaigns if you're in a market like in a top 50 most populous city. If you're serving a metro area like Los Angeles, instead of having like what everybody else that's so-called lazy or don't know any better will do, is they'll have, no matter what what part of LA that the person's in, they will have an ad that says, we are in LA, which is a huge area. So what the user's ultimately doing here is saying, do they really cover my area in Long Beach? Do they really come out to Simi Valley? I don't know for sure. Every little bit of self-doubt about whether you do what the user needs and wants from you, there is, the less money you make. And if you do so much of it, you make nothing. After expenses, you make nothing. So you want to do every single little thing you can to get that user to say, yep, that's exactly what I need. There's no doubt about it. They do exactly what I want. Therefore, I'm just going to go with this guy because he's made it so clear for me. Why would I not just click on this? People want certainty as to you doing what they need and that you're competent enough to do it. They want to know 3 things right up front every single time in the home services market. They want to know, can you do it? Do you cover their area? Can they trust you? So, if you right off the bat, if you create separate campaigns for each city that's over 50K in population within that LA area, so that if they're in Long Beach, they can see plumbing services in Long Beach versus plumbing services in LA, you're going to get a massive advantage over all the other people that you're competing against now that you could see. Just go check their ads, stop the video, go check their ads. You'll see if you're in LA, everybody else is just going to put LA on their ad. Maybe one other person won't. So that's what you do right up front, okay? And then obviously with that, you're going to make sure they go to a landing page that says Long Beach if they're in Long Beach as well. Because people they get super pissed when you have what you have on your ad. And then when they get to the landing page, it's like some generic thing. So it was like you bait and switched them. You said Long Beach on your ad, but now your landing page says LA. Well, is it Long Beach? Is it not? Again, I don't know. It's almost worse than not saying Long Beach at all on the ad. Not quite, but in terms of user experience, this is what, by the way, you want as a user, but as a business owner, you don't want to do it. So you're basically not calling you out directly, but most of the business owners I talk to, they're hypocrites. They don't want to work and do what the user wants, yet they want what they want when they go to Google and search for something themselves. All the money is waiting for you or for the person that's going to do this in their market. So you have a separate campaign for every city in your market, over 50,000 people. If you're in a place that has at least 100,000 people to begin with. And so the ad can always say the exact part of this metro area that they're in, that they're searching from, as well as the landing page. Which, if you're wondering, why it might be misrepresenting yourself if you're not really in Long Beach and you're saying Long Beach on the ad and on the landing page, it's not. You're just saying you serve Long Beach that the user's in. So if they're in so that's all you're doing. So that's the first thing you do right up front. You do that, you're probably going to beat everybody by default, like 99% of the time. So and it's not rocket science. This money is going to be in your pocket if you decide to do it. If you don't, that's fine. It's available to anybody because nobody's going to do this information I'm giving you here on this video. So on top of that, in terms of ad, how do I have the best ad? There's a certain structure for the ad that we know after creating thousands and thousands of these ads for home service markets, what is going to work the best. Now, I can't give you, I was kind of misleading you at the start of this video saying that use this exact formula, you're going to get the results, because there's slight variations to what specific ad will work for what specific home service market. But it really comes down to 3 or 4 or 5 different variants that work for all home service markets. And so to cover all our bases here, I'm going to give you just the 3 or 5 different variants. You go ahead and test them all. You're going to have something that crushes it no matter what anyway. So with that said, what you do, first of all, you need to have, instead of targeting 10, 20 keywords like the typical person's going to do, whether they're lazy or ignorant or don't know otherwise, you want to target the 300, 400, 500 different variants of keywords of different people searching for your service itself, your home service. That is why do you do that? So that you can have unique ads for each person. This is called the single keyword ad group or SCAG setup, which most of the people out there today are going to say is a waste of time. I love it because it leaves all the profit to me. And you can't tell me if somebody types in broken toilet repair that if I have an ad that's laser targeted to broken toilet repair and everybody else's ad says plumbing services, my ad isn't going to get clicked on 3 times the rate as the other ads. That doesn't make any logical sense why it would not. So why is it that everybody's saying this is not working anymore? I have no clue. Actually, personally, it seems like I'm the only person on YouTube alone that says that this is the case. I know it's the case. We have to guarantee results for our clients' campaigns to get paid, which, should tell you something about what I'm telling you here. You have these different unique ad groups for each keyword you're targeting. Every variant, okay? That puts you in a position of a custom ad for every keyword, every way that people are searching for your service that you serve and cater to or for. Then, what do you do in the first headline of the ad? You say the keyword back to them. They're looking for broken toilet repair, and that's the keyword they type in. You want broken toilet repair right in the first part of the first headline, and then you want to say in, and then the name of the city that they're in. Going back to what I was saying before, if they're in Long Beach, specifically not within the LA area, you would say Long Beach. Broken toilet repair in Long Beach. That tells them 2 out of the 3 things they need to know right up front to decide whether they're going to click on your ad. That is, do you do what they came to Google for in the first place, and do you cover the area? Is covered immediately in as crystal clear terms as possible. Then it's just, can I trust you? And then, of course, the rest of your ad can easily knock that out for them as well. Namely, the 2 biggest things that will get trust the quickest is to say you're A+ BBB rated. If you're not, get rated because it's worth it. Everybody knows what A+ BBB ratings are, and it conveys that you can be trusted in as most concise terms as possible that everybody universally knows. Naturally, Google reviews people know a little bit better, but you can't say Google on your ad, so therefore you can't really use it. The second best way to do this, if you can do it, you've been in business for a while, is to say how long you've been in business. Since 2001, or in business since 2001 is another way to phrase it. That's another way to communicate you can be trusted. So if you say broken toilet repair in Long Beach, in business since 2001, you've got all the 3 things that they need to know right up front. Can you do it? You cover my area. Can I trust you? So they are going to be able to click on your ad. And really, like I was explaining before, just put it into... The best way I can put this into perspective for you is there's 4 ads that they have to decide they click on. You want your ad to be the obvious one to click on immediately for you to be able to crush it and make millions of dollars running these ads for your business. If you're going to have an ad like I just described to you, how does it not get clicked on when the other ads are just using half their ass in terms of setting it up, saying, plumbing services in LA, best plumber in LA, all this crap. It's obvious, and it actually legitimately is going to get you a click-through rate that's higher, 3 times higher than the average person's going to get with that exact model that I gave you. So whereas the average person's going to get a click-through rate of like 4%, I'm going to get 12 plus every time using this model. Sometimes we'll do better if you put the word like a hash sign or number symbol basically, and then 1. So it's number 1 broken toilet repair in Dallas. It sounds a little funny to say number 1 broken toilet repair in Dallas or in LA or, like I said before, in Long Beach. So it doesn't necessarily work the best in that market, but in some markets like where there's higher stakes, where trust is a bigger issue as a whole, like foundation repair, number 1 foundation repair in Long Beach will get a higher click-through rate. Just to give you a direct, real example here, that's an actual real scenario there, where it really does work better. So you want to try that out potentially if that applies to you. On the second headline, by the way, best headline that's going to work is to say, insert the name of the keyword here again, services now. So if you're doing AC repair, you want to say, get AC repair services now. And if the keyword is AC company, you're going to say, AC company in Long Beach, get AC repair services now. Why does this work? It seems it's obviously redundant. Why do you have to say what they typed in back to them twice? The reality is, I understand somewhat, in marketing and advertising, we don't really ever truly know concretely 100% why people behave certain ways. All we know is the results are there. I think when you regurgitate back to them again twice, it reconfirms that it's not a fluke. You didn't use software or something to tell them what they typed in, because people know a lot of these ads at the top of Google, it's just an auto-generated thing. So it just reconfirms to the user that this is real. And similar to the fact that the reason why having the keyword repeated back to them in the ad gets them to realize that you offer what they need quicker, better, easier than anybody else. It's the most obvious thing that does that for the user. Saying it twice just makes it twice as so. So anyway, there's that. Sometimes for that second headline, by the way, first of all, that first headline I gave you, you want to pin it in the first position. The second headline, that'll typically work better about 50-60% of the time and 50-60% of markets. Whereas the other 50% of the markets, you're going to have that whole in business since 2001 or A+ BBB rated. Okay, so you want to test both. And then as far as the third headline goes, which in some rare instances, it will actually work better in the second headline. You want to say like something about the response time, 60-minute response time, or about the price. Only $70 service call. The first headline, the formula is always the same. Keyword always goes in the headline. Keyword in city. And if the city doesn't fit in the first headline, you put the city in the second headline. Then you just are gonna say like AC services in Long Beach. Because the city is so important, you either got to get it in the first headline or the second headline. Then, from there though, sometimes stating back to them that your A+ BBB rated will get you the highest click-through rates. Sometimes saying how quick your response time will get you the highest click-through rates. Sometimes saying what the cost is going to get you the highest click-through rates, depending on what market you're in. But if you test all three, you're guaranteed to have that click-through rate where you're at 12 to 15 to 20% click-through rates, where everybody else is stuck at 4% click-through rates. And that's fundamentally it. That's the formula in a nutshell right there to give it to you. It's not that complicated. Yes, it's going to take some work to get this set up the way that I mentioned, because you have several campaigns for each city, and then therefore your ad has to be customized for each city. But it's not rocket science by any means. And as far as the landing page goes, you have to follow up on the promise for this to work out. Don't come back to here and complaining that it didn't work until you did the landing page part of this as well. The landing page needs to have the keyword in the city on it at minimum as well. And to get more specific, if you really want it to work, like I say, if the keyword is broken toilet repair and the person's in Long Beach, you're going to say in the first headline, broken toilet repair in Long Beach. And then if you find in that particular market, which is what's going to work the best in that particular market is the response time, 60 minutes response time. And then after that, saying only $70 service call. Okay? So that's legitimately in that market what we're doing the best with. Okay? What I just mentioned in terms of the order I just mentioned that's exactly how you're going to regurgitate it back to them on the landing page. So the headline of the landing page is going to say broken toilet repair in Long Beach. Then it's going to say 60 minutes response time directly underneath that as far as the sub-headline. And then it's going to say only $70 service call directly underneath that. So that exactly what they saw in the ad is exactly what they see when they get to the landing page, again, in the exact order. That conveys to them what it was on the ad, promised to them is exactly what they're going to get if they actually do call. And makes it so stupid simple for them to understand that you do what they came for, that they can't possibly screw up like getting confused in any way at that point in time. And right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the formula that you want to use for in the home services, PPC, arena, or space, how to run Google search ads the best possible effing way you can. I don't think I have really too much else to really reinforce here. I think what I said was pretty self-explanatory. Half of it comes down to just the preparation. Can you sub-segment your campaign for each city in your target service area so that people get a hyper-localized result, both in terms of the ad and the landing page? I think the other half of the results literally legitimately come from writing that ad well, which I gave you the formula, and the landing page is laid out well so it's trustworthy when you look at it and it's not confusing, and you use the good usage of white space and stuff like that, which, by the way, if you want to see really good examples of a landing page layout that will make sure you get these results, go to my website under our landing page portfolio and look at some examples there for other home service companies where we work with those those companies. Particularly, a great example would be of what we, just in terms of a layout that works phenomenally well to make you tons of money without overthinking it. The first example that we have of a moving company, if you want to look at that, namely because the headlines, subheadlines, all that's there, and then right underneath that you have your reviews of Google, Yelp, Facebook, and your average review scores for each, which if you click on them will take you directly to the source in question to verify those reviews. That takes care of the can you be trusted part of the equation, like I talked about before, about them needing to know, can you be trusted? Similar to that, at the very top of the page between the phone number and the logo, putting in there how long you've been in business or you're A+ BBB rated, you've got a page effectively that you're taking them to on top of everything else that conveys what they need to know within 5 seconds or less, that you do what they came for, that was in the ad, that you can cover their area, and that you can be ultimately trusted. And that right there is the formula. The rest of the landing page, by the way, once they scroll down, which literally speaking will get you only 20% more results, because people, depending on what service it is, if it's a complicated, expensive service like a foundation repair, the other parts of the page do have a bigger impact on your overall conversion rate and results, because it's a bigger decision. They're going to be more thinking about it. In broken toilet repair, you literally could have nothing else on the page than what I just described and basically get most of the results. But anyway, as they say in the marketing space, there's above the fold and then below the fold. When you start scrolling, that's below the fold. Above the fold is 80, basically, as you round it out over all the spaces, 80% of the results is just above the fold, what they see there, because they don't normally need to scroll. And at the very least, even if they do need to scroll, they're willing to scroll because the top part of the page conveyed to them the three main things that they always need to have that I mentioned earlier, right up front and in a very clear and concise way. The quicker you communicate those three things to the user that they need right up front, can you do it? You cover my area. Can I trust you? The more likely they're going to be on stay on the page to review the rest of what they need to review and also ultimately call. Anyway, I think I'll wrap it up with that. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours. By the way, I did mention it. Click-through rates of 12 to 20% is pretty standard with using this formula. Conversion rates, it obviously wildly varies based upon the service, because we've had towing services isn't the right one. Plumbing services will get a conversion rate of 35, 45% because that's something you decide on right away or not. Whereas, in the foundation repair space, we're getting 10%. But if you do like what I'm mentioning here, you use the formula that I taught you and that you can see on our landing page portfolio, conversion rates between 10 and 35, 45% is pretty typical. Okay? Now that may seem high, but I promise you it's possible if you go ahead and do it. Anyway, with that said, if you have any questions about anything I cover in terms of like the results you can get, even if you want to say, Corey, I'm in this space, what kind of results could you get with what you're talking about there? Or any other ad related question, you can leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person within 24 hours. And I love to be able to give back to my viewers just as a way of saying thank you for watching the channel and helping us grow. That said, if you are looking to make millions of dollars running ads for your business, this is the channel you want to subscribe to. You do not want to delay subscribing to it, as all the information I give to you here is real information I have personally firsthand witnessed managing dozens of ad accounts, and specifically just the strategy on those ad accounts at our agency to give you the working formulas of what I personally know works and what doesn't work running ads on Google, Facebook, so on and so forth. Whereas 99% of the information you're going to find online is secondhand information from people who don't actually do ad strategy 40 hours a week like I personally do at our firm. So therefore, you want to subscribe, and you want to subscribe now, because if you're serious about making money with ads, this is the information you want and need. If you like my videos on this channel, I also have a blog, by the way, at guaranteeppc.com/blog, where I have actual step-by-step advice directly from myself on how to make good money with different ad campaigns and strategies that you can follow step by step. If you like the channel, you'll find even more value in that information I share with you on my blog. as mentioned, I run a PPC agency where we guarantee results for our clients. That is more profit from your ads than you had before there is a fee. If we can't make you more money than our fee physically is, then we don't ask for a fee at all. There's no catch other than, of course, we got to know we can get great results with that client before we take that client on. Therefore, we're selective about our clients. But if you want to see if we can potentially work together, you can always reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com. Be happy to have a conversation with you about the opportunity and try to estimate how much results we can provide for you running campaigns on your behalf. Or if you're trying to start up a new campaign, like what could potentially be done on a new network or whatever you're potentially thinking about. So you can reach out to me there. As a side, a lot of people aren't looking to work with ad agencies. I understand this. That said, in understanding this, I've worked in over 100 different niche markets in the last 10 years, of which the results we've got in the niche spaces that we've been in will more than likely be better than you can even get to with your ads, optimizing them yourself or with an agency that is an average agency, which most of them are. You can use the exact ads, landing pages, all of it, and campaign templates, all of it that we use to get results in your niche space already in a different geographic area. Copy and paste all the results we've gotten already in the space into your ad account and get the same results right away without having to do any of the work and having to spend, a lot of times millions of dollars, frankly, in ad spend to figure out what works the best possible way in your niche market. So you wouldn't be doing yourself any favors trying to learn it all for yourself when we just got the winning version of all that, that funnel that works in your space and can just give it to you. We sell those templates for a one-time low fee to get those results without any of the work and any of the time that we had to spend to figure out what works the best in your market. As long as we're in a different geographic, or clients in a different geographic area as you, there's no conflict of interest using it in your own market, whether that be a different city, a different country, different state, whatever. And with that, by the way, if you want to start an e-commerce business, we got e-commerce templates that work to sell a bunch of commodity items. If you want to sell printer toner in your country, you can use what we use to sell printer toner in the U.S., your country, of a turnkey business, essentially, right out the gate, because you got the winning ads that sell toner really, really well, really, really efficiently on Google there. We've got several people that have done that. We've also sold templates to people that want to sell leads. If you want to sell leads to plumbers, we can get leads for plumbers at rock bottom costs, way cheaper than the plumbers can get for themselves. And you can sell those and start a lead generation business, which is a great passive income business, because once you start selling the leads to people, there's really nothing to do once the template is running, if you will. Of course, there's client management, and a lot of times people can't handle leads right. So it's harder than just saying, here, want to buy leads? Okay, and send the leads to them. But, respectively, though, it is a passive income business once they buy the leads and they know it works and they know they can handle it and all that. If you're trying to start a business, that's another great business opportunity / idea. If you're interested in that type of thing, you can also reach out to me. I can let you know what templates we have and so forth to run a new business that you might be considering starting. It's like having a business on training wheels. But I'll wrap everything up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. You got a lot out of it. You actually go and use the information to make a lot of money, and I'll see you on the next one.